All right, what's good, y'all? And here on a Monday, which is highly unusual, but there has been a submission and I want to be able to get a good read on it and enjoy it. But first, as always, some solid JJ.
Balls for a living?
Well, that's one way of putting it.
Ash, come on, that's Kurt, the world's #1 Pokeball expert.
Wow, wait, so you know how to make Pokeballs?
That I do. It's quite simple. You see, you take some apricorns and then you make the Pokeball.
Is that as much as we're going to
That's as
explain
much
it?
When is
we're
the
gonna explain
Discord
it.
party?
Do you have any other questions?
Well, how do Pokeballs
And
work?
D&D
What's
doesn't
not to
count.
understand?
Well, like, how do you get them to be so small when you fit into the ball?
Well, you
Be
just...
them small or tall. Gotta catch them all. Adderall.
If you have any, give it to him.
Well, for one thing, the Pokeballs don't make them small.
They don't?
No, that'd be ridiculous. The Pokeball transforms the Pokemon into living energy, which then gets transformed into data.
Yeah, what?
Well, let me explain. When you catch a Pokemon and that red light shoots out?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's your Pokemon.
Wow, so all Pokemon can just do that?
Well, not on their own. That's what the ball's for.
The ball turns like a living Pokemon into light?
Which is then converted into data, zeros and ones, yeah.
Is the Pokemon alive?
What?
Like when it becomes like data, then it's not really like a living, breathing thing
Well,
anymore.
fight
Then
beat sickle.
it's just code. Do
Yeah.
Pokeballs kill the Pokemon?
I mash fruit together until it shapes into a ball, and then I sell it for a lot of money. That's all I know.
Oh, hello, Ash. How was your meeting with Kurt?
Yeah, it's going well. You see, I asked a few questions about Pokeballs, and I don't like the answers that he gave me.
Oh, well, what were they?
Well, he said that when you catch a Pokemon with a Pokeball, you're turning it into energy or data.
Right.
So that's actually how it works?
Well, yes. I mean, how else do you think that you could transfer your Pokemon into a PC?
Oh my God.
You were never curious how when you trade a Pokemon, it suddenly becomes your best friend? You just change a few ones and zeros and
Okay,
voila.
but where does its body go?
Well, it's still there, Ash. When the Pokeball captures a
brutal.
Pokemon, it converts its attributes into data. Then, when you release a Pokemon, it recreates its body using the data that it recorded.
Oh, so it's kind of like a teleporter.
Well, not quite.
What do you mean?
Well, think of your Squirtle, Ash. When it returns to its ball, it evaluates all the moves it has, all its memories, all its personality traits, and it records those as markers. Once you throw it back out, it'll return you a Squirtle with those exact same markers.
That doesn't sound right.
Oh, don't worry, Ash. I promise you it doesn't hurt the Pokemon at all.
But it's not a living thing anymore. You just turned it into like code and
Well,
stuff.
yes, it does enter a state of non-living, but, you know...
It does
all
enter a
is
state
fine.
of
But it's a
non-living.
living thing, Professor. What about its
A
soul?
soul? What soul, Ash? These are godless creatures.
They're my friends. If you're killing one to make another, it's not even the
This
same
got dark.
Well,
Pokemon.
what's your definition of the same Pokemon, Ash?
What?
It looks the same, it has all the same memories and personality. For all intents and purposes, it's the exact same Pokemon.
But that's insane.
Have you ever heard of the Shibathesis, Ash?
Oh, I'm
You know,
10.
some theorize that when you sleep, you actually die, and then a new you awakens with their same memories and personality. Are you really even dead?
What the fuck are you even saying?
You're making a big deal out of nothing, Ash. Throw on a Pokemon. See, it'll be the same exact Pokemon that you remember.
I mean, yeah, Squirtle looks the same, yeah?
Squirtle.
What the fuck?
Well, what's wrong?
Why does
Yeah,
it
you
sound
see,
like
it's
that?
wrong. That's not right.
Jesus, it looks like it got corrupted a little
Squirtle.
bit.
Corrupted, but what do I do? What do I do?
Well, you have to put him down, Ash.
What?
You have to put him down, Ash. I'm sorry. You got to sweat. If it's wet, it's always the one that's all Pokemon.
This video is brought to you by Gamersubs.
And the flavor of the week is grape.
All right, so right to the Substack. Let's do it. Let's make this bigger. Can we read the contents? All right, so we got this awesome submission from Jenny. And thank you, Jenny, for providing this. Can't wait to read it. On how late we usually arrive and what we pretend not to see. And if I have breath control issues, I'm still recovering from my Pokemon attack, so just bear with me. Editor's note. This interlude is not a detour from the argument, but a clarification of how historical attention usually works. Before moving from structural history to contemporary analysis, it's worth remembering two things that are often smoothed over in hindsight. Democracies rarely intervene early, and authoritarian systems draw from legal and colonial precedents that already exist. Referencing American history alongside Nazi Germany is not an equivalence claim, but a comparison of processes and timing, not outcomes. The goal here is a recalibration, not a retroactive moral judgment. It's a good preface. Interlude on how late we usually arrive and what we pretend not to see. One of the reasons authoritarianism is so easy to misunderstand is that we tell ourselves comforting stories about how it ends. In the American version of World War II, the story often goes something like this. We saw the danger, we understood the stakes, and we stepped in to stop the Nazis. Sounds like Jenny was there. It's a narrative that takes place that places moral clarity at the center and casts the United States as an early principled actor in a global struggle against fascism. That is not what happened. The United States did not enter World War II because of Nazi atrocities or the Holocaust. We entered the war because Japan bombed Pearl Harbor in December 1941. By that point, Germany had already dismantled its democracy, stripped Jews of citizenship, built a sprawling camp system, and begun mass murder in Eastern Europe. This isn't a condemnation. It's a reminder of how late moral consensus usually arrives, and how much suffering can be absorbed by the world before it becomes politically unavoidable. Timing matters. Not to assign guilt after the fact, but to understand how danger is routinely misjudged while it is still forming. You did a lot of work here, Jenny, so I'm going to read both. I got them both open. We rarely act at phase one. In hindsight, the early years of Nazi rule look unmistakable. The warning signs are obvious now, but at the time, they were legal, procedural, and largely framed as internal German affairs. Civil liberties were suspended as an emergency measure. Political opponents were arrested in the name of public order. Forced sterilization was justified as public health. None of this prompted international intervention. It rarely does. States, including democratic ones, do not typically intervene when another country narrows citizenship, reclassifies population, or criminalizes identity through law. These actions are treated as domestic matters until they create instability that spills outward or directly threatens national interests. This is not a unique failure of the 1930s. It is a pattern. We respond to invasions, attacks, and explosions. We do not respond to administrative cruelty until it has already reshaped lives beyond repair. The Nazis were not innovating in a vacuum. Oof. Another misconception that makes the past easier to keep at arm's length is the idea that Nazi racial policy emerged fully formed from some uniquely German pathology. In reality, Nazi jurists, planners, and ideologues studied other legal systems closely, including the United States, especially the United States, as a matter of fact. They examined American race law, segregation statutes, anti-miscegenation laws, and citizenship rules while drafting the Nuremberg laws. They debated whether to adopt American-style racial classifications and ultimately rejected some of them, not as immoral, but as too rigid or expansive for their purposes. The uncomfortable bits, exactly. More broadly, Nazi concepts of territorial expansion, Lebensraum, were explicitly modeled on settler colonialism, American westward expansion, indigenous removal, yep, there's a hot one right there, the reservation system, and the Trail of Tears were not abstract historical examples to Nazi thinkers. They were case studies. This is documented. Excuse me. Adolf Hitler openly praised the United States for clearing indigenous people from valuable land and consolidating territory through racial hierarchy. Nazi legal scholars cited American precedent to argue that democracy and racial exclusion were not mutually exclusive. The point here is not that the United States caused Nazism. It is that mass dispossession, legal dehumanization, and removal were already proven strategies, tested elsewhere, justified elsewhere, and normalized elsewhere. The Nazis did not invent these tools. They refined them. Why this history feels so uncomfortable? I mean, sometimes mirrors can be a little brutal. This framing disrupts the story we prefer to tell about ourselves. It challenges the idea that evil always looks foreign. It unsettles the belief that the moral clarity arrives early. It reminds us that never again is usually declared after, not before. The discomfort is precisely why early phases of authoritarianism are so often minimized or rationalized. When the tools are familiar, when they resemble policies we've seen, studied, or justified in other contexts. It becomes easier to believe they are temporary, survivable, or someone else's problem. And like this is why I had to hurry up and read this, because the situations that have been happening recently, like it's so apropos. I didn't even pre-read it, just I could already get a gist for where this was going, and I think this is some necessary reading. The most dangerous phase is not when violence becomes obvious, it is when legal systems begin deciding who belongs, who counts, and who can be managed for the greater good, using methods that already feel administratively normal. What this interlude is and is not claiming. This is not an argument that the United States is Nazi Germany. It is not a claim that history repeats cleanly or inevitably. And it is not a call for panic. I'm going to agree that, the whole history repeats itself thing is pretty cliche. I would say that the lessons of history, when not learned properly, are doomed to reoccur in a different fashion. So it's not necessarily the same exact history, but whenever you don't fix a leak or a problem, that leak will present itself again in a different form, more than likely. Democracies tend to arrive late to moral reckoning. Yes, it definitely rhymes. It does not necessarily repeat, but it for sure rhymes. Authoritarian systems share long legal and colonial lineages, and early stages of exclusion rarely trigger alarm until damage is already done. Part 1 traced how those stages unfolded in Germany. Part 2 will examine how Phase 1 functioned in the United States, and how Phase 2 logic begins to appear without announcing itself. Not because history is destiny, but because attention still matters most before outcomes harden. All right. Let's put up. I have to sign into Substack to heart this. I will do that later, but this is great work so far. Oh, hey, you got a heart from Fairy Queen. Having her on Wednesday. All right, we are in part 2, and I'm going to get some water real quick. Great having a mini fridge, like within arm's reach. Okay. Part 2, from phase 1 to phase 2, what was normalized, what was learned, and what became possible. Not a whole lot was learned. Just blame it on everybody else. Authoritarian systems rarely consolidate in a single uninterrupted push, especially in established democracies. They move in phases. Test resistance, retreat, adapt, and return more prepared. That pattern matters here. The Trump political project did not create a totalitarian state in one term. No, it did not. It failed miserably the first time around, but you started to see it solidify itself, and it was already scary to think that it would come back into play and it would be much stronger and resilient the next time around. And that's what we're experiencing. What it did do very effectively was carry the United States through the functional logic of phase 1. Neutralizing opposition, degrading institutional legitimacy, and reshaping norms, and then return position to pressure the system toward phase 2. Those are different stages. They do different work, and confusing them weakens the analysis. Oh, powerful. Phase 1, what the first Trump presidency normalized. Oh, here we go. Phase 1 is not about mass repression. It is about making resistance feel illegitimate and institutions feel optional. During Trump's first term, opposition was not framed as disagreement, but as disloyalty. Journalists became the enemy of the people. Courts were described as partisan actors. Elections were legitimate only when they produced favorable outcomes. Political rivals were not cast as competitors, but as criminals in waiting. Ooh. This rhetoric mattered less for any individual statement than for the new baseline it created. Democracies depend on shared expectations as much as written rules. That courts are neutral, that losing an election is not treason, that opposition is not sabotage, Phase 1 erodes those expectations without formally abolishing them. At the institutional level, norms were bent rather than broken. And that is a huge problem. Once things become warped, it's very difficult to frame things properly, and all of a sudden you have alternative information. The Department of Justice faced repeated political pressure. Inspectors general were removed. Pardons were used as loyalty signals. Independence was not outlawed. It was discouraged. This is classic Phase 1 behavior. Institutions remain standing, but their internal incentives change. Formal structures survive while informal constraints collapse. Just as importantly, governance itself became exhausting. True. Constant crisis, scandal, saturation, and norm violations produce public fatigue. Attention flattened. Outrage lost contrast. Distinctions between unprecedented actions and ordinary politics blurred. Flood the Zone was very, very effective, and we're still experiencing that now. We don't even know what to look at. Like, between people getting shot by ICE, Epstein files not being put out, literal fighting with our allies, losing trade agreements and tariffs going down, and then people actually expecting, like, checks for the tariff money and other crazy things. Who knows what to look at this point? But I'm sure there is something very important to be looking at, but I can't even begin to tell you which one is of the utmost importance. Exhaustion is not a side effect of Phase 1. It is one of its most effective tools. Oh, see, you were already there. By the end of Trump's first term, the United States had not lost its democratic structure, but it had lost a great deal of democratic trust. Trust in elections, trust in courts, trust in journalism. Trust in neutral administration. True. There's so much going on, and ones in Congress are still fucking us while we're paying attention to eyes. I swear to you. That is what Phase 1 accomplishes. Not repression, delegitimation. Yeah. Nothing seems like it's legitimate. Court decisions don't matter. Like, it's because everything's corrupt. It wasn't my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. It's crazy. I'm still arguing with people to this day over Trump's felonies and telling me that the court had no standing to do so, that all the charges were trumped up, all this nonsense. And it's like, literally, he did everything. But for some reason, that court was so biased against Trump that they would just manage to make felonies magically appear. I don't see how that works. This is a common historical mistake. Assuming that a transfer of power resets institutional conditions, it rarely does. Norms once broken do not repair automatically. He celebrated his fuckery. True. Oh, excuse me. Trust once eroded does not regenerate on schedule. Delegitimization, once normalized, does not disappear with a new administration. The years between Trump's terms were not a restoration period so much as a holding period. Courts still functioned, elections still occurred, civil society still operated. But the damage to shared belief in neutral institutions, in factual reality, and procedural legitimacy remain. This matters because authoritarian consolidation is not only about who holds office, it is about what a system has learned about its own fragility. And people saying the guardrails held just completely lost the plot. If they were holding on by a thread, and most of it was imaginary. Phase 1 teaches institutions where the seams are. Phase 2, pressure. What a second term makes possible. Phase 2 does not begin with camps or mass arrests. It begins when the state shifts from targeting opposition to managing categories. And I was mentioning to some people yesterday, Trump is talking about reopening mental facilities. The question at that point, where from a normal individual, I would think this is an altruistic thing to get help for homeless, mentally ill people and make sure they're taken care of. In this instance, my first question is, who does he want to be in those institutions? I don't think the answer is going to surprise us. This is where the second Trump presidency becomes structurally different from the first. A returning administration does not arrive inexperienced. It arrives with a map. where resistance is weak, where loyalty matters more than competence, where enforcement can be selective, where norms no longer protect. Personnel selection shifts accordingly. Institutionalists are replaced by loyalists. Caution gives way to speed. Process gives way to discretion. Yeah, we do need more and better mental health facilities. Like, I would be the first one to say that, but I don't trust him to do that, especially with the way he likes to deal with his opposition. If he can start getting political figures or people in the press or people he doesn't like in general thrown into mental facilities, we have gotten to the camp portion of our story. So it is rhyming pretty strongly. Thankfully, he can't be around too much longer, but the amount of time he's around is a dangerous period of time. Okay, and most importantly, the focus begins to move from actions to identity. Yeah, I absolutely believe he will do that. Nothing is beyond my expectation with this dude. Phase 2 logic is administrative, not spectacular. It does not require new crimes, it requires new classifications. It does not need universal enforcement. It relies on selective enforcement, chilling effects, and signaling. Selective enforcement, absolutely. Like a recent capture of a leader of a sovereign land versus letting go other people for doing the exact same thing that you're accusing this individual of. Policy discourse increasingly frames whole groups as risks. Immigrants as invaders, protesters as terrorists, educators as groomers, doctors as threats, parents as dangers to children. This is not yet mass criminalization, but it is pre-criminal logic. True. The shift is subtle but decisive. From what did you do to what are you? What your ideology is matters more than who you are as a person at this point. That is phase 2 architecture. At the same time, the state's interest in private life expands. Family decisions, education, identity documentation, and medical autonomy become sites of governance rather than personal domains. Authority moves inward, not violently, but administratively. True. This is how classification becomes normal. Not through spectacle, but through paperwork, policy, and procedure. And it's not even like in-depth procedure. This is all slapped together with like Scotch tape and some screws. It's so ham-fisted, mostly through executive orders and just saying they can do things and hoping the court allows it to slide. Why this still isn't consolidated authoritarianism. It is essential. Yeah, I'm gonna go do that. Be right back. I mean, that too, but I also needed to spit, so the Pokemon got me good. Like, literally, it came on Tuesday, and I'm still, like, finally on the back end of it. So I'm hoping by Wednesday I won't have any more of this going on, but I still wanted to read this. Why this still isn't consolidated authoritarianism? It is essential to say this clearly. The United States is not a consolidated authoritarian state. Elections still matter, although to very many it doesn't feel that way, and that's pretty scary. Courts still block executive power. I wish they would do that more often. Exactly. Federalism still functions as a brake. Civil society still operates. Opposition still organizes. These are not symbolic facts. They are real constraints. But phase 2 does not require their disappearance. It requires only that classification begins to feel reasonable, and that is what you cannot allow to do. and that selective enforcement begins to feel justified. Historically, this is a threshold stage, not collapse, but conditioning. The system does not yet demand mass compliance. It begins by rewarding quiet adaptation. The danger of waiting for the end of the story. The mistake people make is looking for authoritarianism at its endpoint instead of its midpoint. Phase 1 feels like politics. Phase 2 feels like policy. Phase 3 feels like inevitability. Ooh, ain't that the truth? By the time repression becomes obvious, the groundwork has already been laid. This is not an argument that history must repeat. It is an argument that sequence matters. Trump's first presidency normalized phase 1 logic. The interruption did not undo it. The second presidency returns with phase 2 pressure. What happens next is not predetermined, but it is no longer innocent of precedent. Why this stage still matters. The early phases are when correction is cheapest, not morally, structurally. Because systems are still plural, because institutions still resist, because law still constrains, because reversal is still possible. One classification becomes law and neutrality becomes optional. Every correction becomes more expensive, socially, legally, and humanly. Part 3 will focus, oh, there's a part 3, sweet. We'll focus on that question directly. What responsibility looks like at this stage, not heroically, not performatively, but realistically, while leverage still exists. And then the footnotes show all the resources that were used for this, which is something I really, really appreciate in journalism when they actually show their sourcing, which is why a lot of these videos that I've been getting from certain people in regards to current issues with zero sourcing, just making claims, bothers me to no end. If I can't source it, you can say I can find some sort of parallel through Google searching or whatever. But then when I bring it up, it's like, oh, that's not what I'm sourcing it from. It's like, well, is it something that happened in 2022 or is it something that happened in 2025? How am I supposed to know if you never sourced it? Oh, right on. Well, then I might read it at the beginning of Wednesday's deal. But either way, yeah, I will sign in after I'm no longer on screen with this and give you a like for all these because this is great writing. Although I'm not gonna say I wish I got the third piece right now, but sometimes a little bit of suspense is worth it. Oh God. Connor is debating JF Gary Epi right now. I didn't even know that dude was still doing things. That is crazy. Oh, thank you. I mean, you made it available so that I could read it. I got to read it. I was enlightened, and it definitely put into words a lot of the things that have been problematic going forward and puts into framing exactly what stages we're looking at, how things have operated. Like, definitely good. I think I did. That was both of them, wasn't it? I got part 1, and then part 2 I just finished. Is there more? If there's more, I will read that too. And apparently, wow, so I missed part 1. My bad. Let me go grab it. Part 1. Thank you, Jenny. See, I was not paying attention. The Pokemon poisoning is still affecting me. It didn't start with camps. Gotcha. This is it, right? It didn't start with camps. I'm telling you, if they weren't so adorable, we wouldn't deal with this. And he's out there dancing and playing, and I'm here just sniffling and all stuffed up. It didn't start with camps. How Nazi Germany criminalized people in stages. One of the most persistent myths about Nazi Germany is that it suddenly became monstrous. That one day there were laws, and the next day there were camps, and then somehow genocide followed. This myth survives because it's comforting. If authoritarianism arrives all at once, then decent people can assume they'll notice it in time, which is absolutely not true. Like, it's definitely a conditioning. More and more over time, you rationalize what's going on, and then this is what you get. Oh, let's take care of that. Ban that out. And this is what we're seeing right now. Like, people that are literally watching people be gunned down in the street rationalize with why, well, they should have just not resisted, which has been done to minorities throughout all of America because, the rules don't really apply to them. So whenever something happens to a minority, it's because of some action they did. Like, well, they were just in the wrong place. They shouldn't have been messing with law enforcement. They should have just complied. By no means, is it maybe we shouldn't execute people in the streets. But, that's not how that works. But now it's happening to non-minorities, and they're so conditioned that they're kind of riding with this too. And it's crazy. That isn't what happened. If only they picked the boot. What happened instead was procedural, incremental, and legal. The Nazi regime moved in phases, each one building infrastructure, legal, societal, and emotional. For the next, emotional. For the next. At every step, life continued. People worked, raised children, complained about prices, and told themselves that whatever was happening did not involve them. Understanding those phases mattered, because genocide was not the beginning of the story. It was the end of the process that had already trained a society to accept exclusion as normal. Yeah, if only they licked the boot, it would have been all right. That's exactly what it is. And, for the few people that are keeping their brains together as they're watching this and not falling to the conditioning that's being put forward to them, I commend those people, especially the ones on the right that are just like, nah, this ain't right. Connor especially being one, and bringing up officer-induced jeopardy. Like, people know that it's not right. And the second you sell your soul for this nonsense, it's just adding to us getting to what I'm reading about right here, or some facsimile of it. People are clapping for Alligator Alcatraz. It's crazy. First, they made opposition feel dangerous, 1933. When Adolf Hitler was appointed chancellor. Wait, did my headset turn off? That's entirely possible. Whatever. When Adolf Hitler was appointed chancellor in January 1933, Germany was still on paper a constitutional democracy. Elections existed, courts existed, political parties existed. The first task of the Nazi regime was not racial purification. It was neutralizing resistance. Oh, sounds very familiar. After the Reichstag fire in February 1933, not even a month, the government passed a decree for the protection of the people in the state, suspending freedom of speech, assembly, and the press. This was framed as an emergency measure, a temporary response to chaos and communist threat. It allowed for arrest without charge and created the legal justification for suppressing political opponents. Ooh, this is seriously very reminiscent. Communists were arrested first, followed by social democrats, trade union leaders, journalists, and intellectual critics. The first concentration camps, including Dachau, were established not for Jews as such, but for political prisoners. That's what I'm expecting. That's those mental institutions to be for. Jeez. I'm kind of happy I read part one last. The key point here is not the brutality, though it existed, but the logic. Opposition was reframed as danger. Dissent became synonymous with instability. Once that association stuck, the public no longer saw repression as repression. It looked like a restoration of order. This was phase one, removing obstacles, not removing populations. It's real. And people need to understand this. Like, acting like, oh, well, everything's same as normal is absolutely not the case. Then came the people who were just a problem, 1933 to 1934. With political resistance weakened, the regime turned toward what it called biological and social threats. People who were not accused of disloyalty, but of being defective. Oof. In July 1933, Germany enacted the law for the prevention of hereditarily diseased offspring, mandating forced sterilization for people diagnosed with conditions ranging from schizophrenia and epilepsy to alcoholism and congenital feeble-mindedness. Donkey brains! Sorry, always sunny joke that always makes me laugh. Decisions were made by special health courts, giving medical authority the weight of law. Oof. Well, we know they're not smart enough to do that. They want to make medical agencies the enemy as well. I mean, I guess RFK could try, but they've already conditioned the base to distrust most medical authorities. Those targeted included disabled people, the mentally ill, neurodivergent individuals, and others deemed unfit. Around 400,000 people were forcibly sterilized under this program. Holy shit. At the same time, the category of asocials expanded to include homeless people, sex workers, chronic unemployed people. Oh, geez, don't say it, Jenny. Don't say it. Oh, because you are probably right. The medical tribunals of RFK and Dr. Oz. I quit. Oh, both of them quacks. This phase is often underlooked because it lacks spectacle. There were no mass rallies announcing it, but it mattered enormously. The state established the principle that some lives were administrative problems to be managed for the health of the nation. Oof. Jewishness was turned into a legal status. Rutrow, 1933 to 35. Jewish people were targeted early, but not all at once, and not initially through mass criminalization. In 1933, what's good, Moon? Yeah, we've already gone through parts 1 and 2. But glad you showed up. I'm reading part 1 after part 2 and 3, which is some of the most brutal part of it. So you're definitely in a good spot. In 1933, Jewish businesses were boycotted, and Jews were excluded from civil service positions, universities, law, and medicine. These measures were presented as professional regulations, not punishment. Yeah, we are in the doomer hours. The turning point came in 1935 with the Nuremberg Laws, which stripped Jews of German citizenship and prohibited marriage or sexual relations between Jews and non-Jews. Jewishness was defined not by religion, but by ancestry. This was not just discrimination, it was reclassification. Once Jews were legally redefined as non-citizens, they no longer had equal protection under the law. Another thing that we're working toward doing is making sure that certain people don't have equal protection under the law, especially when it comes down to immigration. I find a lot of people on the right still are unhappy with the idea of due process for people that come into the country illegally. That is insane to me. That is unconstitutional, and they don't like the Constitution in many instances. I'm sorry, they just don't want to follow it as it is written. But here we are. This did not yet mean automatic arrest or deportation. It meant something subtler and more dangerous. The law no longer had to treat them neutrally. The joys of being a minority. This was a crucial transition. The regime did not need to invent new punishments. It had changed who the law was for. I see the parallel of anti-DI craze as professional regulation. Not far off. when policing becomes moral, 1936 through 38. By the mid 1930s, so like we're already 3 years up, the Nazi state expanded its focus beyond political and racial categories to include moral and social conformity. So this would have been within the first 4 years of Trump's presidency. And then we got that break in between, but they didn't stop the nonstop assault on institutions and questioning the realities of the world that we're living in. They ramped it up drastically, especially with the help of people like Elon Musk. By the mid 1930s, the Nazi state expanded its focus beyond political and racial categories to include moral and social conformity. Oh, welcome to Christian nationalism. Roma and Sinti people were increasingly surveilled, registered, and detained. LGBTQ plus people, particularly gay men, were arrested under expanded interpretations of paragraph 175, which criminalized homosexuality. Jehovah's Witnesses were persecuted for refusing military service and pledges of loyalty. I'm going to check my bias at the door there. What unified these groups was not a single ideology, but a shared framing. They were disruptive. They did not conform, they resisted, or simply existed incorrectly. Kristallnacht in November of 1938, oh boy, marked a visible escalation. Synagogues were burned, Jewish homes were destroyed, and around 30,000 Jewish men were arrested and sent to concentration camps. Importantly, this violence was followed by legal penalties imposed on Jewish communities for the damage done to them. Ridiculous. Violence and law now work together, hand in hand. When removal starts to look like policy, 1939 through 1941. With the outbreak of war, the regime moved from exclusion to mass incarceration and killing. Jewish populations were forced into ghettos in occupied territories. Disabled people were murdered under the T4 euthanasia program, using gas chambers later adapted for extermination camps. Okay, this is a new one for me. Einsatzgruppen followed the German army east, carrying out mass shootings of Jews, Roma, and political officials. This was not chaos. It was administrative. Oh, it was very well ordered. Disgustingly well ordered. Forms were filed, orders were logged, transportation schedules were coordinated. Many people say the reason why the Germans catch so much heat to this day is because they documented it so meticulously, which I'm glad they did it. It also allows us to have some writing like this to show us all the stages all the way down. At this stage, criminalization was no longer about individual behavior or even identity alone. Entire populations were treated as problems requiring solutions. Ain't that the truth? By the time it was obvious, it was already over, 1941 to 1945. The industrialized genocide of the Holocaust, the camps, the transports, the mass murder did not appear from nowhere. It relied on years of legal precedent, bureaucratic habit, and social conditioning. Exactly, they documented because they wanted it to be followed. Holy shit. They didn't think they were going to be the baddies once it was over and done with. How? I have very few ideas. By the time extermination became policy, the question of who counted had already been answered. Most people did not wake up one morning and decide to support genocide. They had already accepted exclusion, classification, and removal as normal. The rest followed. The lesson history is actually offering. The most important thing to understand about Nazi criminalization is not its cruelty, but its sequence. Are we in fact the baddies? Exactly. Authoritarian systems do not begin by breaking the law. They begin by rewriting who the law protects. Each phase feels survivable. Each step has a justification. Each transition feels smaller than the last. Genocide is not the warning sign. It is the outcome. There are many canaries screeching in that coal mine before we got to genocide. Understanding always about gay men. What's up, Kyle? Understanding the phases is not about fear. It's about recognizing the point at which history stops offering easy reversals and starts demanding consequences. And then the footnotes here, Reichstag fire decree, the coming of the Third Reich, early camps, United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. Oh man, there's so much good material in here. Ordinary Men, the origins of Nazi genocide, Kristallnacht, Jehovah's Witnesses under the Nazi regime. I did not even think about the Jehovah's Witnesses until, like, this is very enlightening to me. Male homosexuality in West Germany, the Nazi persecution of gypsies, Nuremberg laws, anti-Jewish legislation in pre-war Germany, the history of Nazi concentration camps, law for the prevention of hereditarily diseased offspring. There's so much documentation, yet we still manage to find ourselves in this position in 2026. It feels like that episode of South Park when they got the human Sentai pad, and it's like, oh, well, just sign your name here and we'll get you all released. No, this says that you have 50 more years like this. Your entire life is going to be this. Why won't it read? Yeah, exactly. All that hard work documenting it all, and for Kung Fu to say, nuh-uh. People going around Hitler is based. I wonder if I can get away with showing this. This is hilarious.
The Mitchell Trio is rarely seen and heard on television.
I get no
In fact,
sound.
I have heard
because my
they're
headset's
banned on a
big
few
turn.
radio stations
Excellent.
too, aren't you? Something like that. However, for the past 7 years, the trio has been a dynamic entry in the field of nightclubs and recordings, biting satire on issues both social and political, most entertaining. So welcome for their first appearance with us. Here's the Mitchell Trio.
Is there a clavern in your town?
In your town.
If not, then why not have us down?
Have us down. You'll never recognize us. There's a smile upon our face. We're changing all our dirty sheets and are cleaning up the place. Yep, since we got a lawyer and a public relations man, we're your friendly liberal neighborhood Ku Klux Klan.
Yes, we're your friendly liberal neighborhood Ku Klux Klan.
Ever since we got that lawyer and that public relations man. Of course we did shoot one
Bingo.
reporter, but he was just obscene. And he can't call us no filthy names.
What does Anglo-Saxon mean?
Alaman left, Alaman right.
The ladies' auxiliaries meeting tonight.
Because the Klan's collected so much cash that now, by gum, we're rich white trash.
Now I've heard it said our leadership's not qualified to lead. Well, I'm telling you that just ain't true. Why, 3 of them can read. Take a grand exalted dragon. Now some folks think he's bad, but you should meet his sweet old mother and her brother, who's his dad. Yes, they're your friendly liberal neighborhood Ku Klux Klan. And he's gonna run for governor soon as he's out of the can. We're all from final families, the pride of all these hills. Yep, 7 generations at the same illegal stills. Had a little rally the other night, shot uptown in a fury.
Luke's arrested.
Paul's on trial.
And the rest of us are on the jury.
And now I've heard them call us deadbeats, and we'd like to say we're not. We'll all stand on our record, and
That's one thing we've all got.
and we only have that arsenal so that you won't raise no fuss. And if you don't like that, then call the cops, cause the chances are they're us. Yes, we're your friendly liberal neighborhood Ku Klux Klan. But somehow we went from the fire to the frying pan. We never learned to hold a job and we never learned to write. But boy, we sure have learned the ropes, cause we use them every night. Now when Congress calls, you don't get stuck, just start confessing and pass the buck.
The club blames the Claxton.
Claxon blames the
The
Kleagle.
Kleagleman's Grand Imperial Eagle.
The eagle blames the wizard.
The wizard blames the dragon.
The dragon takes the blame, but he's just bragging.
Now we're out to show the Congress that we're oh so nice and meek. Why we never even take the fifth, cause we drank that all last week. And you never hear us shooting or hanging people high, cause we're learning to respect the law and to have an alibi.
Oh, come, come, come. Come
to the church in the wild.
And those dirty lying witnesses.
come.
Lord, forgive them what they speak. We would go to church and pray for them. Except we blew it up last week.
Yes, we're your friendly liberal neighborhood Ku Klux Klan. And we sure do thank that lawyer and that public relations man. So we're sorry that we harmed them. But they did have quite a tan. And it sure confused your friendly liberal, misunderstood your friendly neighborhood Klan who asks,
What's wrong with the hood?
your friendly liberal neighborhood Ku Klux, grab your Cadillac and head for the hills.
This one came up earlier today. I did not have a chance to watch it just yet.
Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Republicans calling for a Minneapolis probe. Yep, you heard that right. While the Trump administration is busy demanding voter roll information from Minnesota and trying to simply deflect from the giant mess they've caused, the questions surrounding the events are now so large that even Republican legislators are calling for a probe into what happened, with some even saying it's time to pack up and get out of Minneapolis. The House Homeland Security Committee's Republican chair has invited ICE, Border Patrol, and higher-ranking DHS officials to come testify. We'll see how that plays out as the situation evolves, but it's clear the killing of ICU nurse Alex Preddy has reset a lot of political tones. Senate Oversight Committee Chair James Comer of Kentucky, who could also call for hearings, just skipped over that part and went straight to suggesting Trump pull ICE out of the city and said, quote, "If I were President Trump, I would almost think about, okay, if the mayor and the governor are going to put our ICE officials in harm's way, and there's a chance of losing more, innocent lives or whatever, then maybe go to another city and let the people of Minneapolis decide. Do we want to continue to have all of these illegals?" We all know that it isn't the mayor and governor putting authorities in harm's way, but that's framing that would sell it to Trump. Republicans in Congress know how bad this is hurting them, and they're trying to convince Trump that this isn't working. It's going to be a tough sell, because immigration is the only policy of his that hasn't completely backfired in the public's eyes. Republicans are working to save Trump from himself, because they can see the polls and understand that because of ICE's tactics and killings and the administration's rhetoric, Trump is on his way to being underwater on this too. Retiring Senator Tom Tillis said, quote, "There must be a thorough and impartial investigation into yesterday's Minneapolis shooting, which is the basic standard that law enforcement and the American people expect following any officer-involved shooting. For this specific incident, that requires cooperation and transparency between federal, state, and local law enforcement. Any administration official who rushes to judgment and tries to shut down an investigation before it begins are doing an incredible disservice to the nation." Senator Murkowski, who has a habit of breaking with Trump on some issues, said the quiet part aloud. Quote, "Lawfully carrying a firearm does not justify federal agents killing an American, especially as the video footage appears to show after the victim has been disarmed." But it's not just the usual suspects. Even Representative Dusty Johnson, who is as loyal to Trump as they come, said, quote, "Politicians, protesters, and law enforcement all have an obligation to de-escalate the situation in Minnesota. As with any officer-involved shooting, this demands a thorough investigation." Some have wondered if the sudden willingness of congressional Republicans to break publicly with Trump has more to do with Trump's falling numbers and approaching lame duck status than a sudden appreciation for the rule of law? I guess we'll find out. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.
Now, with this being the case, like, yeah, saying they sent a letter saying we'll leave if you give us the voter data. They have access to the voter data. They don't care about the voter data. Deporting less than Obama and murdering white folks. Who's on the real white side? I'm saying, so before, like, when the election was coming up and we were still doing panels around here, Kyle does what he wants. I have nothing to do with it. We had a chat with Jeb, and Jeb was saying the reason he would not vote for Kamala is because Democrats want to take your guns. Well, I elaborated to him that Trump was the only one who had made legislation to try to take people's guns away, and even said, don't ask questions first, don't get a warrant, just take the guns. Now we're in a position where 2A is under threat because of ICE being in a place where nobody wants them. Also keep in mind that these ICE agents are being used as a sacrifice to stoke tensions. So if they happen to die, they don't care. This is just going to show, oh, well, you know, they just want to kill us. This is what they want to do. So if a few ICE agents have to, you know, cease to exist, it's a small price to pay to lower the boot down. It's crazy. I don't see how they don't see that on the other side, that they are being used as a sacrifice and an inflammatory agent. It's insane. I mean, I'm sure he's used many lies over time. I don't know which is which, but here we are. Got DMs from Kung Fu Joe that I'm not going to read right now. But yeah, the pretext for all this stuff is pretty insane. And anybody turning a blind eye and just allowing for this Band of the Hawk for Project 2025, yeah, pretty much. Like, this is going to be the sacrifice for the Behelit. I don't think he's watching. But if he is, hoping he hears some of this and maybe agrees. He's so far he's not a Trump fan, or has not been since he voted for him initially, due to certain contributions to the Israeli movement. I don't know why that's relevant, but it apparently is. And for some reason, my YouTube is acting crazy. So, on a lighter note, and I don't know if I can get away with showing this, but YouTube will strike me or not strike me. I'm hoping they don't, because this is some less well-known music. But watching the Fallout series brought me back to a movie I watched back in the 90s called Six String Samurai. And they had a surf rock band called the Red Elvises. And I'm trying to find out they're still doing it.
A born on 4th of July. Możesz kapozę. No.
Happy 4th of July.
Yeah, exactly, Kristen.
Too much when she kisses my ear. It sounds fucking loud. Oh yeah. That's why I can't hear. We were making love. She didn't mean any harm. It became a wicked game. Broke my forgive you the bruises and cuts.
Russian
I
surf
can
rock
forgive you
people.
the scars on my nuts. But there's only one thing I can stand. Don't call me crazy.
I mean, how else do you do it, man?
My name is Alvin. I can forgive the damage to my legs. I can forgive you the bite marks on my hips. But there is only one thing I can stand. Don't call me crazy. And everybody, my name is Elvis.
Poor Corey.
My love is killing me. Pogромче. My love is killing me. Еще
Yeah, man, that's gotta
разок
stay. And that's why he whips into Gibbs every chance he gets.
My love is killing me.
That's good, you do. I believe it's pharmacology or biology.
My love is killing me. My love is killing me. Testosterone samurai.
Look, even mediocre.
Okay, we're gonna get to bacon after this. My YouTube is tripping.
Hey, Bill! Hey, Bill! Bill! Hey, Bill!
Hey, Dave.
Hey!
Dave. Shh.
What's going on? Come on!
Wendy's sleeping.
Come on, man!
What?
Don't wake her up. Come on, let's go!
What?
Race war!
Race war?
Come on, Bill! Race war!
What do you mean?
Didn't we always talk about wanting to do that?
I don't remember that at all.
Come on, Bill! Race war!
That's where we're at right now. This is
You can be
Minneapolis
captain.
today.
I'm gonna be sergeant.
No.
Oh, is that Wendy?
Yeah, you woke her up.
Tell her I said hey.
Corey is still
She's
the
still
best,
mad
so
at
he
me?
will
Yeah,
walk
she is.
Come on,
Gibbs
man,
right
race
down the
war.
line
Bring
until
her.
he starts
Go bring
screaming,
her.
well, why do I
She's
need sources?
She's
Italian.
yeah, don't bring her. Hey, you want to
No,
get
don't
her?
bring it.
No.
You like her, that's right.
No.
That's right. Come on, man. Well, don't tell her. She might tell the Italians.
Seriously. We lost a treasure there.
It's the same race.
As what?
Us.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he is
Yeah.
no longer with us.
We're American.
We're American.
Kind of.
What are you?
English.
Ah! Here's one. Well, I'm gonna get that guy. I'll come back. He was in a truck. Couldn't get him.
Bacon is still pretty tasty. I
Gotta
mean,
learn how to
that
make
one's a little
bacon.
floppy, and these guys have a little too much color, but that's okay. I'm gonna still eat them. That said, we all deserve better, right? So let's take a look at the different ways to cook bacon and figure out how to make sure that every strip is perfect, no matter how you define perfect.
Oh,
So
wait, we got to
we've all
hold off
tossed-
on bacon because I think Belle got to that point about 2A that I was just talking
Well,
about. But
howdy
let's
there,
see.
Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Trump undermining the right's biggest cause. As tensions
Yeah,
continue
he,
to
fell
mount,
down some stairs or
Trump and the
something,
Republican
I
Party
recall.
are having to deal with breaks in their coalition, with some pretty big names reminding the Republican base that Trump's framing of events is completely at odds with their long-held positions. Beyond that, it's reminding Trump loyalists that Mr. MAGA actually opposes something they see as the most important of rights. The Minneapolis police chief said that 37-year-old ICU nurse Alex Preddy was a lawful owner and was legally permitted to carry a firearm.
Hey, 2A.
However, the
Called
Trump
it.
administration is citing him being armed as grounds for his killing, despite a lot of analysts suggesting he was already disarmed when they fired. And it doesn't help their case that some administration officials are saying they don't know whether he had already been disarmed. FBI Director Kash Patel said, quote, "No one who wants to be peaceful shows up at a protest with a firearm that is loaded with 2 full magazines." U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley said, quote, "If you approach law enforcement with a gun, there's a high likelihood they will be legally justified in shooting you."
Jeez.
The NRA responded by saying, quote, "This sentiment from the First Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California is dangerous and wrong. Responsible public voices should be awaiting a full investigation, not making generalizations and demonizing law-abiding citizens."
That
Gun
t-shirt in the
Owners of
back.
America,
Oh, Lordy,
which,
treading.
for those unfamiliar with this community, is even further to the right than the NRA, made a lengthy statement too. Quote, "We are saddened by the loss of life in Minneapolis, Minnesota earlier today during a federal law enforcement operation. Because details remain limited and facts are still emerging, it is essential that the Justice Department conduct a complete, transparent, and prompt investigation so the public can fully understand what occurred and maintain confidence in the rule of law. Furthermore, we condemn the untoward comments of the U.S. Attorney. Federal agents are not highly likely to be legally justified in shooting concealed carry licensees who approach while lawfully carrying a firearm. The Second Amendment protects Americans' rights to bear arms while protesting, a right the federal government must not infringe upon. Finally, the left must stop antagonizing ICE and CBP agents who are
Why?
taking criminals off the streets and play a crucial role in protecting
Nope.
communities
Not a drop of
and
confidence
upholding the
left.
rule of law. If you consider yourself a 2A person, I have 2 more quotes for you. Quote, "I like taking the guns early." And quote, "Take the guns first. Go through due process second."
I was just
Know who
talking
that
about
was?
this.
It wasn't AOC or Pelosi, Schumer or Obama, who actually expanded the ability to carry. Those 2 quotes are Trump. He's not one of you. He never was. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.
And we got to keep in mind that letter from the NRA in California, the only time the NRA was ever okay with legislating on gun rights was when Black Panthers showed up at a federal building. So here in California, we still don't have the ability. It's you may issue a license state, which they just don't. So the idea that even the NRA in California is like, what are y'all doing when it comes down to concealed carry? Y'all need to chill. Which makes this shirt all the funnier. Oh Lord, he tread like for real. Back to
a couple
bacon.
of slices of bacon into a skillet and turned on the heat.
That video
Flip
just
the
popped up
pieces
12
occasionally
minutes
until
ago,
they're
so I
crispy.
didn't
This
have to
method,
write
it's pretty good. Barring burning the bacon, you're going to end up with something delicious. But that doesn't mean there isn't room for improvement. I know I'm always tempted to add more slices to the pan as the bacon shrinks, and I've always thought it'd be really nice if you could cook an entire package on the stove. I mean, yes, the oven is a good option, but it's just not always available. And then there are the annoying inconsistencies. Some of the pieces are always a little too floppy or flabby. Some of them get charred. Sometimes those meaty bits are so far gone that they're like dry and brittle instead of crispy. So let's take a look at why this method is so inconsistent. Throughout this video, I'm going to be using Oscar Mayer brand bacon. It's the ATK Reviews team's top pick. I've got 5 slices here.
Let's
I'm
just
gonna
keep
get them in
remembering
this
that
12-inch skillet.
we get to complain about censorship from the right when everything goes down.
So I'm going to cook these 5 slices of bacon. They're in a 12-inch skillet. I didn't bother preheating it because I really want to render the fat out. And I'm going to set my heat to medium, and that's hot enough to render out the fat, which is great. But that's also the reason these strips are buckling. The meaty bits are contracting a little bit more than the fatty bits, and so you see kind of those hills and valleys forming as the bacon strips start to contract. So you can see that we're starting to get color on the pan, and that means that the bits where the bacon is touching the skillet, they're probably just starting to pick up color as well. This is kind of usually when people start flipping these pieces, right? Just to make sure that they're cooking evenly. This is all familiar, right? I'm not telling you anything you don't know. So this entire process, waiting for the bacon to render, waiting for the browning to happen, it's kind of slow going. I don't know about you, but I always underestimate how long it takes to cook bacon. You just have to keep an eye on things and move the bacon around so that it cooks evenly. So the thing I'm paying the most attention to here is the way the fat is kind of bubbling its way out of the bacon strips, and I'm paying attention to the sound. That sizzling sound, that's water leaving, and the more water leaves, the faster the bacon will brown and the crispier it gets. And so I want to wait for the sound to soften, and I want the bubbles to get smaller. If you are paying attention, you'll notice that these are maybe 1/4-inch size bubbles at the largest. I want to cook this bacon until those bubbles get to be maybe about 1/8 of an inch in size. That's when you're going to have a chewy, tender bacon. And then for those of you who really like crispy bacon, you want those bubbles to get so small that it looks like there's kind of a foam covering the strips as opposed to like distinct bubbles. The sound is also really important. Quiet bacon is crispy bacon. Pay attention to how loud your sizzle is, and when you can barely hear it, that's a good sign that your bacon is crispy.
That's a good use for bacon.
The sizzling sound has diminished quite a bit. It's sounding crispy, so I'm going to pull this out.
Take some bacon and throw it in a pancake.
Okay, so here's what I see in this bacon. I'm going to give it maybe a B+. It looks good, but it's a little under here, a little floppy. That fat is clearly not fully rendered. I don't love how dark it is, like this piece. It's fine. It's not as crispy as I'd want. The meaty bits are eating a little dense and dry. I really feel like I can do better. The question is, how do we get a more consistent cook and better texture?
Yeah, we need to be clinical with our bacon. It's a very important thing.
The thing I find frustrating about bacon cooked in a skillet is that it takes a lot of time to get those kind of B+ results. And you're pretty much tethered to the stove, making sure that the bacon doesn't burn. Now, you could put a weight down on top of the bacon that's going to flatten it against the pan so that you get uniform browning, but not everyone has a weight. There is something that everyone does have that can solve the problems of uneven browning and dryness: water. You just want to add a quarter cup of water to the bacon and bring the whole thing to a simmer. That's enough to barely cover the bacon. The water heats the bacon more evenly and gently than the skillet alone, and it keeps the parts that are touching the skillet from browning too soon, so there's less flipping and tending required. There's minimal buckling and no browning happening while we're rendering out the fat. By the time the water's gone, though, enough fat has rendered out and it can take over the job of delivering heat to any areas that aren't touching the pan. Now we're frying. So what's kind of fun about this method is that you can modify it to cook an entire package of bacon in one skillet.
She
so
has
for
it
that
well
package, you're going to
documented, I'm
need
sure of
1
that.
cup of water. And then you can start adding your bacon. It's going to go in 2 layers, and I find it easier
baptize
to
that
arrange the second layer so that it's perpendicular to the first. I like to get the water in the pan first because the water is going to keep the slices from sticking to each other. And I don't stress if they're overlapping slightly. I know this looks ridiculous, but it really does work.
Not the raisins.
So now I just want to bring this water to a simmer. This whole simmering part, it's going to take 15 to 20 minutes depending on your stove or your pan. And I know that sounds like a long time, but honestly, cooking just 6 slices of bacon takes you maybe 10-15 minutes, so this isn't actually that much longer and you get a lot more bacon. So once the water evaporates and the bacon starts to fry, you just kind of start stirring. The bacon's never going to shrink so much that everything will fit in an even layer, and so there's always going to be bits kind of sticking up above the fat. But there's also enough fat that we're kind of shallow frying the bacon, and that stirring just moves anything that isn't submerged so that it is submerged and you get even cooking. So I don't worry about these pieces overlapping or tangling. The goal here is just movement to get them to brown evenly. I'm also keeping an eye out for those visual cues we talked about earlier. Small bubbles for slightly chewy bacon, foam for crispy bacon, and I'm listening. As they brown and finish cooking, I'm going to fish them out when the piece looks done and sounds done. At this point, I do want to make sure that I arrange them so that they're flat on the paper towels. The thing about these bacon strips is that while they're hot, they're really bendy, even after they brown.
Looks like
it's only when
bacon.
they cool that they become rigid, unless you like your bacon chewy and tender, in which case, your cold bacon may still be a little bit floppy.
What about that thick cut bacon?
So I really do just want to keep these pieces moving around. Anything that's like a little bit pale, I'm making sure that part gets submerged under the hot fat so that it picks up color and renders and cooks and crisps. Also, we're at the point where, I would fish these out if I wanted my bacon to be a little bit chewy.
I like where
you can
Jenny's
see these
going with
bubbles.
this.
You can tell how big they are, and that says chewy to me. I'm going to let this go a little bit further, though. I want a little bit more foam for a crispier bacon. So this is looking pretty close. At this point, I want to make sure that any bacon that I'm pulling out, I'm arranging so that it's flat. So I really love how uniformly browned all the pieces are, even though they're clearly not flat.
That
I
bacon
just want
looks
to give one of these a
anemic.
try.
Crispy
The
side.
browning is super
Guessing the
uniform. We're
flavor
not
is
seeing
way
any
off.
dark bits on any of the meaty areas. The fat is really nicely rendered. The really nice thing about that added water is the meaty bits, they're going to pick up some of that water. The water turns to steam and it kind of poofs and expands that part a tiny bit. They're not quite as dense and heavy and brittle, and there's just a friable texture to it that's really awesome. So that's stovetop methods. Now, if you want a more hands-off method, you're going to need your oven.
Oven bacon.
Stovetop methods are nice, but
Oven is
when you
not
need to make a
fried
lot of
bacon.
bacon, then
It's
you should be
baked
using your
bacon.
oven. It lets you cook a lot of
She's
bacon
lying
really
to us.
evenly, and it frees up the stove for other dishes. I'm kind of assuming that if you're cooking multiple packages of bacon, you're probably also making a couple of other things. You can bake 1 or 2 trays at a time. It's up to you. When you're laying the strips out, it's okay if the pieces touch. You just don't want them to overlap. You know how bacon is kind of extensible like that? There's no reason to stretch the bacon out. It's not going to get you longer strips or anything. It just means you can't fit quite as many slices onto
Put it
the
in the
pan.
Discord, Testy.
Okay, so I've got a pound of bacon on this sheet pan that's a package, and I'm just going to pop this into a 400-degree oven. I'll give it a spin after 5 minutes, and the whole thing will be done in 12 to 15
Jenny's
minutes.
speaking the truth.
So while that bacon's in the oven, let's talk about some of the words we see on packaging and what they mean. First up, I have center cut. Center cut bacon is lovely because it has a little bit less fat, and here's how they make it. So if they were to slice a full pork belly, you'd end up with something closer to this length. On either end of that belly, you're going to find a good amount of fat, and that's the bit that they trim. Because this ends up being waste, they'll charge you more for this. And so, yes, you're getting less fat, but you're also paying for it. Let's talk about nitrite-free and uncured bacon. I have a package of bacon here that is uncured, and below it, it says no nitrites or nitrates added. So nitrates and nitrites are curing salts. They're used to extend the shelf life. They keep bad bugs from growing, so your bacon will keep. Producers can say that their bacon is uncured, they didn't use a curing salt, or nitrite and nitrate free when they don't use sodium nitrite or sodium nitrate. That said, there are ingredients out there that contain nitrites, and they can use those. If they are using those other ingredients, then they can say it's uncured and that they didn't add any nitrites or nitrates. If you check the ingredients on these packages, you'll often see something like celery powder or maybe dried celery juice. That's a natural ingredient that contains a good amount of nitrates. And in fact, our reviews team sent a bunch of samples of bacon, both cured and uncured, to a lab to have them analyzed for the amount of nitrites they contain. And in certain cases, the nitrite-free stuff actually contained more nitrites than something that is cured, where they will disclose that, yes, we did use sodium nitrite in this bacon. Last up, we have thick-cut bacon. So I have two samples here, and the thick-cut bacon is significantly thicker than the thin-cut. This might seem obvious, but the thicker-cut bacon takes a little bit longer to cook. It's got more water in there, and you have to drive that water off before it gets crispy.
You heard it here
so
first.
If you really want your bacon to cook quickly, and if you like crispy bacon, it's really best to stick to the conventional stuff. If I'm using bacon as an ingredient in another dish, say a pasta, I kind of like thick-cut bacon. It's a little bit more substantial, and in most cases, I'm not worried about it staying crispy, so I don't care that it's harder to fully cook out. Whatever style of bacon you're looking for, the ATK app is a great resource.
But that's only because they won't read.
Bacon's done. I want to get these strips onto paper towels to drain as quickly as possible. They're just a lot easier to remove from the sheet while they're hot.
Honestly, that
I just can't say no to
bacon.
bacon.
Made before, but like that bacon rind. Like that's why you want that.
So
that
this
fat.
method
You
is
get that
awesome
bacon
if you're
rind
trying to make a lot of bacon. But if I'm not trying to make enough bacon to serve a crowd, I kind of prefer the stove, if only because I don't have to wait for a stove to preheat before the cooking starts. So the next time you need a lot of bacon, I recommend our oven-fried bacon recipe. And if you're making just a couple of servings, grab a skillet and add water. Remember, quiet bacon is crispy bacon. I'd love to know how you like your bacon.
Unlike loud bacon.
Hi people, and I'm
back. Bruh.
Again, and today I'm going to be doing a different
Why you doing this, Tessie? I know exactly what I'm about to see.
Right, as you can see, I've got a few things that I'm going to do. Like I said, it's a different one. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to beat some eggs up. And get a bit mixed up.
Yeah, Tessie is diabolical.
I need a bit. And I've got some spaghetti sticks here.
Why do you have spaghetti?
Or spaghetti, whatever you want to call them.
She's about
Right,
to
I'm
commit
going
a
to
crime.
put this egg in the mincemeat, and I'm going to mix the mincemeat around until all the eggs
lock her up. Lock her up.
And then what I'm going to do is, I've got, I don't know if you can see in this
Why is
dish,
it just an onion chilling there?
I've got some spaghetti sticks. Or
Don't do it, lady.
spaghetti,
don't you do
whatever
it.
you want to call it.
Oh, you.
God, I grabbed hold of it now. Wonder I had a thumb left. And what I'm going to do is, I don't even know how to do this. I've seen it on video, but I don't even know how to do it.
Oh.
Grab the sticks. Grab the soggy mincemeat.
Ma'am.
And put it round the sticks. Oh shit, sticks are too big. Oh, it's falling apart. And have another go. Give it another good mix. I think I'm going to put 2 eggs in.
Oh, if there's anything that lists are necessary for, she
Put
should
it
be on
in.
it.
Put mincemeat round it.
Zero seasoning. We don't need seasoning. Just throw an egg in that beast. Get some uncooked pasta, and just
What I'm
slather
going to do
it
is I'm
on
going
there.
to try and get another 3 in.
No garlic powder,
and then I'm
no
gonna show
onion
you the
powder,
rest
no
of it.
nothing.
Right,
Not even salt
as you
and
can
pepper.
see, this is exactly how it is. I don't think I'm supposed to have put the
I don't think you're supposed to do a lot of this.
egg in the mincemeat, but I only got to see it when it was like this. So what I'm going to do is pour some tomato on as he did it. I don't want to use it all because I need to save some. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in the oven for about 20 minutes. Because then when they come
Didn't
out,
even
then I've
get
got to
the
put the
sauce
onion
on the
in.
meat. Like,
And that's how I was
where does she
shown.
think the sauce is supposed to go?
And now, as you can see, I've peeled and top and tail the onions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them very thinly. Well, not too thin, you need to taste them.
Oh, God, her cutting technique is horrible. How has she not lost a piggy yet? Fingers all up in there.
I know what you're going to all
The
say.
thumb
You're
is
going to
just-
say,
oh.
now why is she using that knife when she's got a sharp one? Well, I've just nearly took my hand off by trying to get through the onion.
I wonder why.
So, well, that's the onion, part of the onion sliced. And when the oven's had 20 minutes, or should I say, the spaghetti sticks, or whatever you call them, has had 20 minutes,
Genuine
I'm going to
Italian.
sprinkle the onion. Going to sprinkle the onion on, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing.
Kyle, he lied to you. He lied to all of
Well,
us.
you probably can't see, but this is how it's said to do it. Sprinkle them all over. We did that,
I'm
go.
gonna grab my supplements.
There. I know the tops look a bit burnt, but you did see me putting the juice on. So that's the onion. I need to be spread out a bit more. Oh right, thank you. I didn't know that were there. Bits of running. Right, and then it says, oh, I can't open this. Then it said, that's big. It said any spices of your choice. So I'm doing. That's a lot. That's a lot of bloody parsley. But anyway,
Who likes
doesn't
burned
matter.
spaghetti out
And then
there?
it said, put the rest of
Extra
the stuff
crispy.
over the onions, whichever you want me to say.
If anything, I'd have said throw some beef broth in there or
You
something.
need a tin of tomatoes.
Also,
for
some
this,
damn
so-
spices. What's wrong with you?
Yes, I'm going to open a tin of
Before
tomatoes
you
as
cook
well
it.
because it needs to be all covered.
Some raw ass onion.
Right.
It's
so,
bloody
yes, I've got
raw.
tomatoes. It needs to go all over. That's it. So that's the tomatoes. So that's going to go back in the oven for another half an hour to cook the onions, and then, but it should be okay. And that is the different spag ball.
Mmm.
And Lee's coming to do the taste test.
Oh, this poor man.
Right, so let's see what it tastes like.
Don't do it, bruh.
What?
Oh, you hear it crunching. Oh, it's crunching.
Yeah, well,
But that's fine.
probably, yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Why don't you try to be that in bed then?
What bit?
That'll be
She's
on
wearing
that
an
side.
Iron Maiden
no,
t-shirt.
other side,
Okay.
that's it, yeah.
It's a form of torture.
You can help. With a bit. Alright.
Oh, he's taking another bite. What?
I
Lots
see a lot softer, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a little bit hard, but yeah. That's not that bad then.
That was a
Probably
criminal
sweet.
act. No, nice people don't do
Onions
this
should
to
be
other
crunchy.
people.
Mm.
Is it crunchy? Good.
Yeah.
Is it
And
crunchy?
mincemeat.
Good.
And mincemeat should be alright.
It's a bit burnt, but
Been done twice over.
Oh, Lord.
All right, thumbs up.
Oh, right. Good. Right, like Lee said, crunchy in places. Obviously, a lot of it got done.
She should be on a
I
most
did it
wanted
exactly as
list.
it was put, but I think I put so much juice in it, but it doesn't really matter. So if you like what you see, please keep viewing me. If you want to give me a big old thumbs up, it'd be much appreciated. If you want to leave a comment, please feel free, the more the merrier. If you haven't subscribed, then get subscribing. And
good
I just
son
want
would
to
tell her
say
what she
there's
did
going
was
to be a
wrong.
link in the description to my what?
Merchandise.
My merchandise. I can just say you can have any colour you want and you can have any size you want. So
Isn't that cute? But it's wrong!
That was that entire video right there.
I present to you your weapon.
Pinto Bean had spent a lot of time watching us make skits using fake swords.
All the swords we use are fake. She saw us fighting each other and was like, okay, that's how it's done. But we didn't teach her, we didn't train her.
We didn't expect it from her. If I asked her to drop her sword, she's dropping it in a second.
Oh no, and you've been slain by the wolf.
She dropped her stick, picked up the fake sword that I was holding, and ran away with it.
Oh no, and she has upgraded her weaponry.
At that moment, our lives changed forever.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah?
There's a lady here who wants to speak to the manager.
What does she want?
I don't know, ma'am. What do you want?
We're out of treats. Just became so fierce with it.
Yeah.
I think you've been neglecting someone.
Oh, you're really pretty. You're really pretty, Pinto. Really.
From that moment, she's conquered all the lands with her might.
And she comes down with a strong paw on anyone who would defy her. Very much so, including the vacuum.
Come on, you know it's not that bad.
She must be stopped.
And so we have this incredibly epic sword fight.
We really play it up that she's fierce, and that's not her character
Dog
at
is a
all.
general.
She is a huge couch potato. When we do start playing, she can go for hours and hours.
And she does not go lightly with her weapon.
Pinto, I'm sorry, but a great sadness has happened. Her sword, her brand new one, could not take her might. It was too weak to stand up against the might of Pinto Bean.
We gave her old sword a nice farewell ceremony as a thank you and remembrance for all of the great service it had done.
And so we got the new sword.
It's here. It's here. It's here.
Dog, we got a new blade.
It was almost as if nothing changed.
She's like, all shall fall before me.
That's right, Carl.
We really try to squeeze her into every facet of our lives.
We're reading. She really is the queen of the household here, and she has to have a sword that shows her power.
She got to learn to show up that defense. The right video?
I present to you.
Nope, wrong video. Gotta do one more to see if we can redeem Testy on this.
Hi people, and I'm back cooking
Another
again.
Iron
And today
Maiden
I'm
t-shirt.
going to be doing
She's committed to
Mexican
torture.
food in tacos. Oh, she took some skin off
Oh, y'all
first.
dropping more links. Okay. I'll get to
I
yours
feel a bit
next
better
move after
with this knife. It's not one of the shiny ones, as you can see. It's one of the other ones. I was just too scared to use the other ones. So
I
I'm
just
just going
pulled
to take
this
some
one up.
of the
Tessie
skin
didn't
off
do
this
this
one.
but I still blame him for the entire progression of this. Oh, not just ocean.
Only
This is
trouble
so
with
many
an
different
onion,
violations.
You've got many layers of skin to take off. You don't know where you are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this layer of skin off, this brown layer of skin, and another layer.
Oh, she's just
Might need
clawing
a
at an
smaller
onion.
knife for this.
What's wrong with you, lady?
This little bit. Now, here we are. Took that bit off now. So just start going around and peeling it all off. Try and not leave any on.
If she left it on, I don't think it would make that much difference.
That's it, we're getting there. Like this skin off. Throw that away. There we are. I'm
cutting
going
board
to cut
has
this
seen
onion
dark
up. Make
times.
sure there's no, honey on. Oh. Get this knife, got to start cutting a bit shorter. Losing its sharpness. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice this up.
It looks sprouted in the middle. She just...
Ah, shit.
I swear. It was a
Well,
matter of
we've got it.
minutes.
We've done it. We thought we would do. We thought it would be long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a plaster on
All
my
the cooking
finger where I
utensils
put the
biting.
honey on in the frying pan and let it cook. Right, I've stopped reading now. So I'm going to cut this pepper up. It's a red bell pepper.
I don't think it's good anymore.
Fresh yesterday. So we're going to slice that in, and as you can see, I just back to a small knife again.
Lady, curl your fingers.
Now this is more sharper
It's so stressful.
than the other one. I am so frightened. So I'm putting these in. What I'm doing
Yet you
is I'm
still
going to
keep
put
doing the same
these
thing.
in
It's the
with the
definition of insanity.
honey-ons. Sorry, I keep forgetting. With the honey-ons to cook them together. So then I'm going to put, I think there's a sauce I've got to put with it to some form or other. So to make this the Mexican stuff. Right, as you can see, I'm doing the...
Oh, burnt to shit.
I don't know. Some sauce, some spicy sauce. So I'm going to add the chicken in.
I don't even want to know how she prepared that chicken.
That's it, and
Even the
Right
plate
there.
looks sad.
stir that in the
Brown stuff.
sauce. That's all.
After moon submission, Zephyr.
Right, now I'm going to put the...
What is that?
Now you can...
Is that a
you can make
pita
this
bowl?
chicken or mincemeat. My friend says she's not bothered what she has it done with.
That is a sad looking
In
plate.
there. Come on, spreaded it out. A bit of honey-ons and
Honey-ons? Burnt to... Oh
peppers.
my god.
I know these are red peppers, but they're not spicy at all. Well, not where I got them from anyway.
A fajita, pita.
In there like that. Oops, it fell over. Never mind, doesn't matter. And now I'm going to put the sauce. I'm going to get a different spoon. And I'm going to stir the sauce and put some on. Right, this is now warmed up enough, I'm hoping. And
what are you doing?
Now I'm going to put this sauce.
This is just adding charges. She just threw some paste on it?
Ran out of sauce. I thought I'd got enough. Never mind. Not to worry. There we are.
Yeah, that's not what we're worried about.
Lee is coming to do...
Oh, this poor bastard.
Lee
He's catching
is
another
coming to
one.
I forgot I got them on.
Oh, God, I'm dreading this now.
Get it down the neck. Oh, you missed it. You've dropped a pepper. No, I dropped that.
Oh, you dropped that one. I'm dreading it.
Oh, God, that sauce is going to be
That
red
look.
hot. Ooh.
Even she knows it's bad.
It's not.
Isn't it?
No, it's
Oh,
not.
well, I'm still not having it anyway. I'm not going to take a chance. I'm not going to be bad all night.
That is delicious.
Is it?
Gorgeous. It is a bit spicy.
Is it? That's why I'm
It
not
takes a while
touching
to
it.
get. Not really spicy, a bit like a chip shop curry.
That's spicy for me.
Wait.
I know when it comes to spicy,
But
I'm a
yeah,
wimp. I
that
know.
is gorgeous. Thumbs up.
Oh, that's nice to hear. Right, Lee likes
I'm just going to assume he was lying
to
to her.
hear that. I know
took
I've
one
only
bite
shown
and
you
dipped.
one. Reason is I'm not going to be having the sauce on my chicken. I can't see the point in being ill all night. So if you like what you see,
Don't ask
you like
about
what
the
you
red
see,
spots
please
on the
keep
plate.
going, man. If you want to give me a big old thumbs up, did you give me a thumbs up? Oh, give me a big thumbs up. If you want to leave a comment, please feel free, the more the merrier. And if you haven't subscribed or you know someone who hasn't
This is a natural form
subscribed,
of Ozempic.
get them subscribing. Take a breath then. Get them subscribing, get yourself subscribing, get everybody subscribed.
So let's see what Moon sent us. Yeah, I don't know if I can watch this on on YouTube because they'll probably strike it. So I have to leave that alone. So many of my videos get struck because of different things that I watch in the process.
Let me show you how to make these incredibly easy
this dude's
10-minute chili garlic noodles. Start by roughly chopping some garlic. Grate some ginger.
Here's
Dice
the
and separate some green onions. And now for the rest of the sauce. Soy sauce, black vinegar, a little bit of sugar, gochugaru, and if you don't have this, just use regular chili flakes and sesame seeds. Now a good amount of food lube in a hot pan, and then in with our garlic, ginger, and onions. Once it starts to get nice and fragrant, ground pork. A little bit of
Moon's
salt.
was, Gordon Ramsay.
And once your pork is nice and brown, add in the rest of your sauce.
Twitch is fine.
And then after about a minute, go ahead and add in your noodles.
Squiggly noodles.
Let me show you how to make these incredibly easy 10-minute chili garlic noodles.
I got a big old slab of pork belly, which I'm going to carefully slice away the skin and get a plastic bag to put it in and then vacuum seal it and I'll sous vide it overnight. And then I'll get the meat sliced into thin little strips and add a spice mix and get them braided up just like so, then tip in a few chips to smoke my pork belly for a bit. And pouring over some
nice
wine
smoker.
and sauces to let them braise for a little while, with more right at the end to give it a nice glaze till it's got a little jiggle and the meat just shreds to bits. I've also got some leftover andouille and bacon cheeses which I'll melt into a sauce with some orzo to make a little mac and cheese. And then I'll heat my tortilla along with some cheesy orzo and pork belly, and then some crispy onions with some sliced up peppers and chilies going on, and I'll fold and roll and wrap it up and seal into a burrito, then crack and brush it all over with some egg. And I'll get this out of the bag and scrape the fat off and carefully cut it into a lattice, then I hold down and par bake and lay onto my burrito to heat through to glue. And I'll pour hot oil all over the top to make the crackling crusts, and then I'll serve it up with a pot of the guac to make it bang, and I'm going to slice it right open, looking unholy but needing a dip in the guac and a good old I got a big old slab of pork belly, which I'm going to carefully slice.
Honestly, not bad. I'd eat it. What just happened? Art, no. That looks mid. Well, let's take it back to basics. Let's complicate up some simple food. Some beef tallow. Onions that nobody cut their finger preparing. I think it's radish, but I'm not sure. But I'm saying I already know it's going to be delicious just from the amount of oil. So this is clean. Those are browned up. What comes next? It's tipped up. I don't know how well it's going to work. But we'll see. I'm enthralled. I want to see what happens next. All that onion. So now the oil is infused with all that onion. I think it's onions and daikon radish. MSG is good. This is far more work than I would ever do for anything. Put it in the deep fryer. No. Rice. Imagine coming here hungry. Over-engineered. Oh my god, he's using seasonings. Wasn't ready for that after the last couple. That was the misdirection. They showed us the guy making the tea. We don't know what he did to the rice. Roger would be losing his shit. Ghetto is always right. It's probably pretty good though. Aromatics are crazy. How do I get sound? Must be some way to get sound. Unmute. They make you agree to unmute.
Pie. The Baja Blast pie. Because I yearn for death. I've never had a Baja
He's
Blast
making his
before,
own?
if you can believe that.
You can do that legally?
The fuck is that? Oh wait, is there caffeine in this? Am I forlocoing myself?
Yeah, no. Mountain Dew's full of
That's
caffeine.
the color of dirty aquarium water. My
I didn't even
favorite.
know they sold
Alright, I
Baja
found this
Blast
recipe
outside
for
of
the
Taco
pie, so
Bell.
let's try it. It's basically a key lime pie. Graham crackers. Are these one of the cookies they invented?
That's
to
why it's an
stop
amazing
people
pie,
from
because
jerking
it's
it?
basically a
Not
key
gonna
lime
stop me,
pie.
I'll tell you that.
And as we all know, that
Look
is
at
the
this
superior
bag.
pie.
We just gotta beat the shit out of it. I don't really like resorting to violence like that, but if one doesn't want to be blasted, one should not be baha'd. Okay, Shug. Let's stream in her butter. Boom. Graham cracker crust. dump her in our pie plate? I forgot one of these guys. Stamper thing. This is basically a key lime pie. Even though I don't think we should be rewarding Florida with their own dessert. Now you just go in the oven.
I like this man's logic.
Reduce some Baja Blast. Isn't that freaking crazy? Oh my god, what is this? Is it safe to be breathing in Baja Blast fumes? Oh, pie crust. I guess that's fine. How can I describe Baja Blast? I don't really drink this stuff because my body is a temple.
Don't do it.
This is crazy. She can't have Baja Blast. A third of a cup. Now we have concentrated Baja Blast flake. It says to add some key lime juice. Not gonna lie, it does smell like straight up piss. Nelly and Joe's famous Key West lime juice. Good for them. You think they walk around, they're like, yeah, we're Nelly and Joe. You probably know us from the Key West lime juice. And when they rob you at gunpoint. Bowl. 4 egg yolks. Sweet and condensed milk. Love this stuff. I think pour in our green juice. Whoa, that's so weird. Food coloring. Oh, I do have teal. Okay, let's see what color that changes it. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, that's the right color.
Yeah, that's pretty Baja Blasty. Wait, that's kind of like perfect. Boom. Oven. I have no idea if that's done or not. And there's kind of no way of knowing, because this is not real food. It's whipped cream time. Bunch of powdered sugar. Boom. It's piping time. That's a freaking Baja Blast pie. Boom. Look at that. Boom. That's freaking incredible. Whoa, that's a fucking Baja Blast pie. Like, that's perfect. I should pour myself a fresh glass to accompany it. Whoa. I'm getting some good back notes of Baja. And even of Blast.
Back shots
but really,
of
it's
Baja.
just like sweet, creamy pie. I think you could use more Baja Blast for next time when I make this. But until then, I'll just drink it with Baja Blast. I did it. Welcome back to Bake Baking, the show where I try to bake something while baked. Today, I'm gonna try making that frickin' pie, the Baja Blast pie, because I yearn for death. I've never had a Baja Blast before, if you can believe that.
In the stream. But this one's kind of long, but I feel like it's necessary.
I woke up this morning, I went outside to take a little wee-wee, felt it was cold. I said I'm throwing down on 100% authentic chicken and sausage gumbo. And we might talk a little smack. You big old King Cooker black iron pot right there. All this is from scratch. Got some good andouille sausage right there. We're gonna get that in and we're gonna brown that down.
Listen to the sizzle.
Now, when I say competition, when I say judges, I'm not talking about myself. Because there's a lot of judges that know a lot more about me, and when we judge, I learn, I listen, and I see what they like. Them old heads, them old Cajuns. Cut nice little size sausage. We don't want a sausage that big. Nobody wants to deep throat a sausage while they're judging. Some might. But anyway, that's for here nor there. Beautiful andouille sausage, because you want the judge to get a sausage, chicken, rice, juice, all in one bite. Boom. Although Reyes cracked a 10 slicing and dicing, it's got these little riblets right here, releases the meat from the knife until I said it was, and then it didn't do it. Hey, that never happens for a reason, boy. Look at that right there. We're gonna brown this down. And then we're gonna get on that Rudy Poo and that homemade yard trick stock. We're gonna brown this down really good. Got a little Earl in the pan. Check that out. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Then undo, we got a nice fat, look at that. Fat to meat content right there. Oh, yeah. Gumbo 101 has begun. Check it out, dude. When I see my sausage start to get a little cut on it, I pull my meat. You only pull your meat one time. Look at that right there. Going in with the yard pimp. Now, if I was cooking this at my house, I wouldn't care. I'd probably do them both together. Since it's kind of a competition gumbo sauce, I don't want stringy chicken. So let's brown the chicken down in the sausage grease. So we're about to get lost in the sauce.
This dude never disappoints, but that shed looks terrifying.
Your trick. Ooh, that's hot. Why am I stirring with that? Oh, you're funny. Wash it down. Brown that chicken down. Check this out, dude. About to pull that chicken out. It ain't fully cooked. It's just a little brown down. Now we're gonna work on that Rudy Poo, which a lot of people got problems with. I don't know why. And doing a competition, it's like using liquid smoke. We can taste if you use a jar room. Is there anything wrong with a jar room? No. But there's a taste. You just know it. Little Earl. We're getting that hot right there.
How fast did the no
equal
come after
flour,
that question?
Equal parts Earl. Got that radu at the bottom. Boy, look at that right there. It's not even like that. Oh yeah. Get the Earl hot. Let's get to the stock, dude.
Because we got to watch Britain do it first. Now we're just going to see what Britain did to us.
He thinks a gumbo
or France
roux is more important than the stock. Jean. I know you're a certified chef. I'm a certified couillon. But you know they say if you make a gumbo with a roux, it's a stew. You can make a gumbo without a roux. But you cannot make a gumbo without the stock. We got one yard trick in water, chilling, maxing, relaxing. And this is why I came out with this right here. This so no sodium Cajun two-step. And I know what you're saying. No sodium, what are you doing? Two reasons. One for the stock, two to get people with heart problems. Just be lucky you ain't got a heart problem.
Wow,
right
Louisiana's evolving.
Because you don't want a salty stock to go into what you're doing right here. And be careful with that
same dip.
A lot of sodium in that thing, boy. And you can use as much as you want on this. Boom, boom, boom. Come on right with me, dude. Another new bottle. Another thing I come out with. Boop, boop. The Holy Trinity in a shaker. Boom, boom, boom. Zero salt. And this is not a seasonal. That's an ingredient. Come on back with it. The cayenne. Best cayenne on the market. Let me get my little chicken nasty. I'm gonna rub it down like she going to the beach.
Just use straight up cayenne.
So to me, it's more about the stock.
Oh, there's new Riff Raff music too.
And Jean-Paul, we still love you. He's from the same hometown. That's cool. If you still think a roux takes 6 hours, you must be smoking old chicken foot, dude. Check this out. You want the ultimate stock chicken feet. Put them in there. Them chicken feet make so much gelatin, whatever you call that. When that stock hits your throat, when you eat that gumbo, it's gonna cure all them diseases from the strip club you got last night. You might want to put some in your auntie, boy. Oh, I don't eat chicken foot. That's nasty. I saw what you ate last night. Money, dude. I'm probably not gonna judge no more gumbo competitions. The last one I did probably had 40 entries. And if you'd have just cooked stale crackers, gumbo, and rice right here, with their directions, you probably would have came out, I don't know, 15th maybe. That's not bad. Check that out, Cajun2step.com. Let's work on that Rudy Poo. We got the Earl in there. We're getting the Earl hot. Come in with the flour now. And we're just gonna stir. We're letting them chicken feet walk around in there.
It
getting
absolutely
that gelatin. Now, this ain't my Nobel Peace Prize, my Pulitzer winner, my world champion gumbo. But if I was called to cook a chicken and
you have the gumbo with a trim bologna sandwich.
I turn in a chicken and sausage gumbo. I don't turn in, I smoked duck vagina for 3 hours and put it in there. We don't want that in there. We don't want, look, I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna put shrimp in there. No, don't do it. Chicken and sausage gumbo. Chicken and sausage gumbo. Fun fact, seafood gumbo does not have pork sausage in it. Somebody learned the hard way. Just saying. But remember, at your house, cook how you like. And that's how we do on the channel. We making a Rudy Poo. Keep stirring it down. I'm 10 hours in. I don't know what to do. Oh, listen to this. One dude came and said, "Bruh, I'm about to turn in my gumbo. It ain't thick enough." I'm like, why would you want a thick gumbo? I don't know what this dude did, but it was so thick, you could have ate it with a chopstick. Not a chopsticks. It was a slimy snot bubble. I don't know what it was. It looked like, I can't even say what it looks like.
If I woke up in that shit, I'd be terrified.
It looked like afterbirth soup on the never-ending story. You know when they had that wizard looking, run, Achilles, run! Yeah, right there. They were eating afterbirth soup. Rudy Poo, I love you. Literally, I don't even know that's a word. 7 minutes in. And what I like to do is I like to let it sit. Get in here, get high. You let it sit and then you move it. Look at that brownness. That's how you get a dark roux. Look at that. It ain't that it takes hours and hours. Keep stirring it. Look at that. Look at that right there.
Cultural differences, man.
I'm gonna stir it real good. Then I'm gonna stir at it real good. And then I'm gonna let it sit 20 seconds, 30 seconds. And then I'm gonna move it around. Look how much darker it got on camera already. Speaking of changing, look at this. Look at this, what we done made. Oh my goodness. That chicken foot wanted to rise.
That absolutely makes me feel better.
There we go.
Give me the cooking paddle.
Back and forth. You could use a whisk if you want to.
Most people I know use a whisk when they make a roux.
Be careful, don't miss no spots.
Uses a large piece of wood.
Rudy Poo, I love you. 15 minutes in, look at the color on that. Kind of like my cousin Vinny. Maybe my roux cooks faster on my stove like a grit does on my cousin Vinny. I don't know.
I was about to say, my cousin Vinny reference.
Oh boy, that stock is where it's at, dude.
Are you sure about that 5 minutes?
Chicken feet, give me something good to eat. And we're gonna debone that bird. Put that meat in here too.
Everything's wrong, Kyle. At that point, every choice I've made in life is being questioned.
Smell that right there. You start smelling burnt. You better start over.
And then running out into the bayou ain't a smart move. I'm just stuck.
Chill. Redneck Riviera. Granny Rich. Kiss the demo. Boom, check it out right there. I'm going for rusty bullet hole brown. Oh, what that is, you ain't going down.
Oh, if it was Florida, I'd already be saying my prayers.
That was a bar. Rewind that and watch that later. Going in with the Trinity, dude. The bell pepper, the celery, the onion. Always use fresh in a competition. Always use fresh.
Sending out text messages telling people I love them.
Ooh-wee. That's right there, boy. Now you don't want it to burn for show. Get it incorporated.
It is absolutely not a color right now.
Look at that.
It's not in the crayon box.
We'll put a cork in there. Get it out of there. Right here. We're about to jump on that garlic subject too while we at it. Let that sit and sizzle. Get all that. Give it one more stir. Now when it comes to the garlic and the competition, you could use garlic.
I was guessing a car,
because
but at this point, I'm not absolutely
break
sure.
down. Fresh garlic smash will break down, and you won't even know it's in there. Just like that. So I'm going for the big mama jam. Get that out the way. Smash the garlic.
He's got him out. He's got Thor's culinary hammer.
All from scratch, 100% authentic chicken and sausage gumbo. Did I say I put boudin balls in there? Did I say I put this? Did I put that? I didn't put no Grobek wieners in there. None of that. None of that. You wonder why you lost. Put it in there.
Yes?
And I know what y'all thinking. We don't see you winning no competition. Did you know Rocky got put in the Boxing Hall of Fame? He ain't never beat nobody in the ring, D-boy. It ain't about what you know. It's about what you show. Check that out right there, dude. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
Looks like Charger Man.
You throw that on somebody, it's gonna be a bad day for them. Thank you, Pekka, for holding my spoon. Like this little spoon right here. You can put it down. Look at that. The richest homemade chicken foot stock. We're gonna cook this down for a while because I want that stock the Trinity.
He's got a custom-made orb.
Concentrate. The root will all come together.
None of those were words.
Let this your pimp chill out. I can debone his booty. Ooh, yeah. Any this left, we jar that for another day. Oh boy. I just don't know where people want a thick gumbo from. You want a stew, cook a stew. Understand that. Then some kuya says, huh, I don't use a roux. I thicken my gumbo with feeling.
Looking through this shag. It's wild.
We'll get to that shortly. Look at this. And we're going to add more. We're going to scrape them bottoms. Look how pretty that is right there. Well, watch it, watch it, watch it.
Whoever is filming this is more congested than
chicken
I am.
foot. They're just doing like chicken foot. And like that. Going in with a couple bay leaves, a little parsley. I'm gonna pull them bay leaves out. Let that cook now. They're gonna go. That's a big one. Look at this chicken right here. It's even shooting y'all the birds, boy. And I know what y'all thinking. Like, cracker. You
taxidermy humor.
Cook-offs.
He's got a
You
son at
determine
Cut
people to
People.
come cook.
It's actually
No.
Gibbs.
I'm reeling y'all in. Let's
We've
get
been
back
fooled.
to
We've
the
been had.
basics and cook authentic gumbo, jambalaya, boiled crawfish. So if you want to come join, you want to come compete, go check out the SCCAcookoffs.com and come to the event. Come see what it's about. If you ain't never did it, you think your gumbo is the best, bring it out there. Look how pretty it is. Slow and look, we ain't even put the meat in there yet. We ain't pulled them bay leaves. But look, you think them chicken feet going to waste? Suck that off of the gelatin. Chicken feet for the win. Chicken feet soup's coming up. I got a feeling. Open up your legs. If I had $1 for every trucker that blew their freaking horn when they passed by the Booski, I'd have like $20 a day. But anyway, got it low and slow. I'm going in with the smoke on the way. Get it in there. Just like that. Hadn't even seasoned on that thing yet. Two-step fire. We're going to season, taste, season, taste, season, taste. I am. Oh, your food tastes the same. Yep, my hog head cheese tastes like my cracklers. My cracklers taste like my ribeyes. Everything is good on the channel, I guess. Look at that right there, boy. Things are moving, yeah, right along. Look at
He'll probably be mad.
Look at this, look at this, look at this.
Just consider.
Blanching some okra right here. Check that out, dude.
Oh, no, don't do it.
And then I'm going to strain that because, look, I don't want that slime. Look at that. Best comment wins what that looks like. Huh? Yak. You don't want that in your gumbo. Gumbo means okra in West Africa. So, some judges, not me, said if it ain't got okra, it ain't gumbo. I could care less. And they said if it ain't got filet, it ain't.
I'm guessing he buys it by the crate.
We tasted this off screen, and it was, Mama Jim,
what in the world is going on here? Exactly what it looks like.
Ooh, check it out, check it out. We gotta get that snot out of there. Ooh. Should have never come on. I guess y'all wondering what I'm doing. Check it out, dude. I'm watching Dale Cracker Alligator episode, YouTube and Facebook. I'm about to I get all excited about
Even
that.
the shed is alive.
We pulled the bay leaves. We're going in with the chicken and the juices. Oh boy. And if it was competition, I probably wouldn't put this in there, but I don't want it to go to waste. And the deboned chicken cooked in the chicken feet. Get that in there.
Good to see you, Circa.
Look at this.
Watching what happened to Guy Fieri, who was addicted to meth, and Trina was born in a shed next to a nuclear power plant in Louisiana.
I missed that episode, dude. Check it out, dude. Look how pretty that's coming along. You don't think okra got slime, dude. That's what you don't want in there. You don't want a slimy okra and then make it like escargot snot. That's the best thing I could say it looks like. Here we go, nice and blanched, going in. Just like that.
Oh, it's still slimy. Make it stop.
Ah, we making a gumbo.
Clip me or clip Mida?
Some couillon would probably strain the goodness off.
Worth their weight in gold.
Anything to make a video with you, boy. Dang, that dude must work out, huh, you boy? Anyway. Check it out, dude. We got the okra going down. Outdoor Edge also makes a bad
As long as you didn't clip me calling that dude, making that dude
hunters out there that like
his lineage
trim
cousin fuckers.
Going in with the green onions, trying not to cut my fingers off. Choke. Put them in there. I think it works better on duck wings than it does on green onion. But it don't matter. Outdoor Edge, crack a 10, give it a spin. Oh, I think my finger got it. I'm good. You want a haircut, dude, when I'm finished? You weird.
I'll watch it right after this one's almost over. I'll pull that up and then I'll end the stream.
Get that in there.
You missed the beginning of this one. Reading Jenny's substack.
As soon as the camera's off, I'm dumping all these eggs
authoritarianism.
But it's a competition gumbo. We don't want your mormons, deviled eggs in there. We don't want no eggs in there. We want straight gumbo. And a lot of times we don't even want rice. Put your rice on the side because some of y'all will ruin your gumbo because you can't cook rice. Look at that right there. I'm just trying to help y'all out. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to talk mad smack. I guarantee I might not win, but I won't be last. Sadly, this gumbo is coming to an end. We're putting the filet and giving it a spin. Growing up in my household, we put the filet on the side because some people, I guess my mom didn't like filet. I don't know. Nobody ever told me so.
Kyle, next time I watch one of these, I'm going to have to bring you on to translate.
Beautiful, beautiful. We got some Louisiana rice right out the crawfish field. In a lot of competitions, we don't let you put rice. We're going straight gumbo. Look at that right there. Chicken, sausage.
I haven't had gumbo in a minute. That looks amazing.
That's how I want my gumbo to look.
Minus the okra.
Boom. I might not win, but I'm going to give it a little spinny, spinny, spin. Today is Saturday, huh? I'm looking forward to this day for a long time. And now it's over.
Ça, c'est bon.
That was Biz. Let's see this Instagram post. If it opens.
Trying to protect Messianic Judaism, okay, in the United States. Right now, there's a movement in this country that would probably most likely want to get rid of that. You know that, right?
Yes.
You're okay with that?
Yes, people could have different opinions. It's amazing.
No, like remove you. I mean, like remove you.
I mean, sure.
What do you mean, sure? You're not going to be saying sure when it actually happens, maybe, right?
My man, you have no idea.
I don't. I'm asking you, man.
I mean,
you would voluntarily self-deport, Jason?
No.
You would voluntarily
I was
renounce
born-
your
I
Christianity
was
or your
born here.
Americanism?
No, neither. I was born here.
Boy, you'd fight?
I assure you, I will die here.
Okay,
I
so
have
like
fought.
if you wanted to protect your if you wanted to protect your family, right? Like your family's security and the security of your religion, what is the best way to make sure that happens so you don't have to end up dead fighting at home because you were being forcibly removed because you were a Messianic Jew? What would be the best way to protect your family in that situation? I just don't get it.
Same way. I mean, I can't.
I mean, it's the bravado's cool. I get it.
Just like when the NFAC was threatening me and sent me pictures of my house. I just reminded them that
That's awesome, man.
Big Trash Day comes on the
I mean,
first Monday.
I'm not
every
really
month.
interested in talking to a child.
Please come. Well, I mean,
So Jason, if
Thank
you wanted to
you for
protect
that.
Messianic Jews,
Okay, so here's some silly. And then I will end on this. That was great.
Hello?
Not interested in talking to a child.
Defiance in the eyes, like his father.
Why do you have a blanket on your face?
Come here, kneel.
It's too late, Elmo. Fear is the mind killer.
Put your right hand in the box.
So, with that dude, I still don't know which kind of Messianic Jew he is. I don't know if he's like an actual Jewish person that became Christian or if he's like a Christian that is claiming Judaism, but like with extra steps. Because like an actual Messianic Jew are usually like people that were of the Jewish tradition and then came to believe in Jesus and like integrate the Bible. Yeah, see, that's the question. So like, I'm not entirely sure, but the dude is unhinged.
What's in the box?
Pain.
No, thank you.
I'm gonna want to put hand in box.
Your mother bade you obey me.
Elmo's mama.
Dude is
I hold at your neck the Gom Jabbar. Poisoned needle. Instant death. The test is simple. Remove your hand from the box, and you die.
Does Elmo have choice to not?
An animal caught in a trap will gnaw off its own leg to escape. What will you do?
I would set it free and give it kisses and a bandage.
Silence.
Oh. Oh. No, Elmo knew what to do. No. Like. I'm on your leg. See?
when it comes down to the teachings of Jesus, like you will literally bring up things that are being done and things that they are agreeing to, and they will run from the red letters as quickly as possible. It's kind of bonkers. So who do we raid into today? Let's take a look. Who is streaming currently? We got Lactoid. Oh. Circa. Yeah, I can raid into Circa. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. All right. Well, it's been a blast, y'all. Catch you on Wednesday, where I will be speaking with Fairy Queen about the BPD, the conversation Andrew Tate had on BPD. So, yeah, get ready for that. Absolutely, Jenny. And I'll be ready when the next part comes out. Catch you guys next time.